Hello everybody, this is Ghost Hunter 385 and I am back with more StarCraft 2 and more commentary for everybody. So let's see what's going on here. Queen of Blades was seen on the world that had the Mobius Foundation on it. Dr. Neruda is unable to talk, but he's creating Rainer's. Rainer's will stop with saving all those lives. And, oh, look, we have a breaking story from Dying Vermilion. Oh, wait, there isn't something. Okay, just commercial.
What goes bump in the night? It might be your gifted child. Register your child with PsyOps today. It's the law. It's your duty.
What does that remind me of? It's not The Giver, but it's something along those lines of that kind of thinking where you have to register your kid for some type of special program. I can't honestly think, but I know there's a book that I've read about that, and I can't think of the name of the book right now. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what it was. Just can't think of what it is. Nope, I still can't remember. Oh well. Yes, Tosh warning Jim about Tychus for obvious reasons. Well, not so obvious reasons, but reasons nonetheless.
A lot of rumors going around. I'm guessing
lots of rumors going around.
Are the stories true?
Well, what can I say? It's the truth. Jim was involved with Sarah. They were both involved with Arcturus. And yes, Arcturus let billions of people die, all just to satiate his need for power. Although Jim should have more reason to live. Yes, extra money. It's always nice to have extra money. But Jim needs to forgive himself. I'm saying that's the best way to phrase it. Jim needs to forgive himself for what happened, because he couldn't always be the one to stop everything. You know, even with his involvement, he still tried to right his wrong. And technically speaking, even he was against the decision to use the psi emitters. He's like, think about it, man. You don't want to do that. Arcturus still did it anyway. I will rule this sector, or see it burn to the ground. I will see it burned around me to ashes around me. So yeah, Arcturus is such a good chummy fellow.
I don't like them, aren't they?
They're not magic, it's just technology beyond your understanding, Mr. Swan.
They're like magic.
But you know how it is. The medevac. I like it, just And then, yes, I need to get those upgrades, but first no, I already got that. We need to get that. That actually helps preserve my buildings and stuff. It's nice. Very nice. You know, Reapers are nice for harassment, and if the fire bats would actually stay on the front lines like they're supposed to, creating a nice armored wall of flamethrowers, I'd be more inclined to get them. But sadly, I don't get them. Gotta get those, need to get those. You know, it's just better to have the... What was that cargo ship that I got? Let's see. Mary Mother, who was an early medevac pilot, she saved hundreds of lives. Then when they called her medevac a hill bus, she killed 2 of them. Oh, that's nice. And she's properly reformed into the Dominion military. How sweet. Yeah, that's not scary at all. Jeez, no, that's not scary at all. Let's see, Xiphon. Actually, Xiphon 11. Valhalla. Xiphon. Haven. Belshar. Let's go with Xiphon. That's the last 4 points I need for my Protoss artifact research.
Planet Typhon.
Very pretty, very pretty, very pretty.
Sensors indicate.
Ooh, what's this?
Wait. What the?
Wow, that got big.
star's energy output just jumped 500%.
Oh great, that means it's going supernova. How wonderful.
What's it mean? It means the star will go nova
in hours. Yeah, that's exactly what our sun is supposed to do when it runs out of all of its fuel. It'll expand and then it'll either form a dwarf star or turn into a black hole. Although a lot of the astronomers all sit there, well, not astronomers, astrophysicists or whatever they're called, a good majority of them theorize that when our star goes boom, it'll turn into a black hole. It's an interesting bit of science when you think about it. And there you go. One of the primary reasons why I like being Terran. Your structures can lift off and move. I don't have to sit there and waste a ton of credits. Well, not credits, minerals, resources, however you want to say it, on building completely new structures. It's nice. But anyway, folks, let's talk about today's topic. And today's topic is women's bad behavior and how our society endorses this bad behavior. Women are angels. They don't do anything wrong. Does the word paternity fraud mean anything to anybody? Or does that only mean something to a man or just men who've been affected by it? But in any case, for those who don't know, paternity fraud is where a woman knowingly, or at least has a good enough suspicion, where she is sleeping with, maybe 1, 2, or 3 men, gets pregnant, and she doesn't know who the father is. How can you say that about women? Well, if you want to go search around for certain... if you want to go looking around on certain Reddit forums, guess what? They have plenty of stories of men posting about how not only did their wives cheat on them, all of the children that were in the marriage, none of them are his. Oh, it's a isolated incident. Well, I hate to break this to you folks, but it's not an isolated incident when there are social services people who have reported that paternity fraud is not new. Hell, if you don't believe me, go look out into nature itself. I think it's baboons or something that's similar to a baboon. But a female of that said species has to flirt with all of the males around her to protect her offspring and her young. Why do they have to do that? They have to do that so that way males won't jealously kill the offspring. Wait, hold on. No, yes, the banshees. No, you three. No, stay here. Okay, there we go. Let's see. First artifact here. Let's get rid of the... what are they again? Tal'Darim? Let's get rid of the Tal'Darim here, even though they're more like the Daylon Protoss. But anyway, that's just an example in nature of not necessarily not female promiscuity, folks. It's more an example of what a species needs to do to survive. Because there are points in where she may not even know that which male is the father of the offspring. Well, she's just trying to keep her species going. Yeah, that's understandable to a degree, but when it comes to humans, you can sit here and watch a bunch of different men's issues channels or those who report on how society is, and it's amazing what some of the stories that you hear. I mean, just as an example, I think it was Strong... No, it wasn't Strong So Small. I forget the name of the channel. It was actually a Reddit story that I heard. But basically, what happened was that this man, a dude... Let's see, that's the second artifact I got right. No, that's the first artifact. There's second. But a man who pulled himself out of the slums of New York, and he was also a gang member in a gang. You know, he pulled himself out of the gang lifestyle, tried to make himself better for his family because his girlfriend said she was pregnant and it was his. And guess what? 13 years later, the real father, who also happened to be the dude's cousin, told her the truth that he was her biological father. And then she just went up and acted out. And, you know, the only reason why I bring this up is because it's more than likely a real story. It's sad that it happened, but think about this for a minute, folks. This was supposed to be good Christian people, and they're sitting there fooling around and da-da-da-da-da. You know, paternity fraud is one of women's bad behaviors. It's not bad behavior, it's just a girl getting the man she wants. So let me get this straight. It's okay for a woman to sit there and fool around with 5, 6 different men, who knows how many more, that it's okay that she gets pregnant and she goes to the guy who's the most successful out of all the men she's been fooling around with, and it's magically his baby. Doesn't that seem a bit contradictory to, oh, we love this man and we want to be with him? Yet, why is it that you're picking the man who has the best, job option, But in any case, you know, this is an example of one bad behavior. Oh, women are little angels, they can't do anything. Okay, what about using DV against men? Oh, well, and you know, just as an example, my father is a cab driver around where I live for well over 20 years. And he told me this specific story, that one day he got a phone. He was out being a cabbie, you know, waiting for an order or run, however you want to say it, to go pick somebody up. He gets a phone call, goes to a house. Guy comes out with a towel wrapped around his arm, and you know, my dad is just driving him to the nearest hospital. He's like, "Hey man, what happened?" What does the guy sit there and tell him? He tells him he got into an argument with his wife. You know, it wasn't like anything too terrible. At least from what my dad told me, you know, it wasn't anything too terrible, but you know, he started having an argument with his wife, and then out of nowhere she just turned around and assaulted him with a knife, which resulted in her stabbing him with the knife. And when he said he was going to call the police, she ran into the bathroom, grabbed a safety razor, slashed her face with it, slashed her own face with a safety razor, and said if he called the police, she would tell them that she stabbed him for assaulting her first. Isn't that a bit, what am I looking for here? A bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypocritical, or abuse of laws on the books, because she realized she did something wrong, and oh my gosh, I don't want to go to jail. So because I don't want to go to jail, I would rather frame him for something he didn't do, and he didn't even touch me. All he did was tell me no, or I got mad at him. That's just another example of bad behavior. What about men's bad behavior? You know, to make this quick, short, and sweet, men's bad behavior is already punished by society. No, it's not. What about all the men who cheat on their wives? Yeah, what happens to those same men who cheat on their wives? Do they get away scot-free? I don't think so. And if you think I'm saying I'm just dismissing this, I'm not. I'm just saying that, what am I thinking here? That there's way too many stories out there of men who have ended themselves because their spouses cheated on them. They got the kids, the house, generous alimony, generous child support. And whose fault was it that the marriage fell apart? Wasn't the dude's. He was faithful to his wife, and she got the gold mine and he got the shaft. How many men have ended themselves because of something like this? Though you can't say that. Oh, really? The stories of people who sit there and say they've ended themselves because of their spouse's infidelity are not allowed to be talked about because it shows women in bad light. Well, I got news for you, folks. People around this planet do crappy things, and they will continue to do crappy things unless their behaviors are punished for it. And as of now, women's bad behaviors are not punished. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, really? How many stories exist out there on things like r/, what is it? r/, relationships, where men sit there and talk about how their wives cheated on them, and at the end of the day, they got the shaft and she got everything, the house, generous alimony, generous child support, and all that jazz. Really? What karma or what comeuppance is that? It sounds like she made off like a bandit. Well, it's up to the judge. Oh, really? And how many people who here have listened to people talk about, what am I thinking of here? Of the family court horror stories of where men just sit there and cry to themselves out of the bar and talk about how crappy the court system is or how heavily it is in women's favor. So, that's paternity fraud, false DV. Let's not jump onto the subject of false rape allegations and S-word assault here, folks. Because guess what? If you go into those subjects as well, guess what? It gets even worse. It paints women as some of the worst, nastiest people in your life. That's only a small subsection. Really? How many women have actually gone out there and just taken complete advantage of the legal system? I mean, just as an example, in Canada, I think this is still true to this day, all a woman has to do to get full custody of her children in Canada is claim S-word abuse of the children, and she is automatically granted everything, even though, maybe 6 months or so later, the police come back and say, well, there's no evidence. The kids say no, but who knows? Maybe they're just protecting their father or anything along those lines. Then from there, and then, if you push the children through all of the testing that they do, like looking for scars, looking for signs of, I don't want to say that on video, but people, what I mean here. That and there's no signs of trauma, no signs of abuse, guess what happens? Does the guy get to see his kids? Does that guy get his kids back? If he goes back to court and all he has to do is sit there and say, and slams slams the reports and stuff on top of the desk and says, Your Honor, here's the police report where they said they found nothing. Here are the reports from the psychologists who say nothing. Fourth artifact, by the way. And you just all sit here and watch this happen, and the judge just looks over. Well, Mr. Blah, 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 there is no proof here, but I don't think you're a safe person to have around the kids, so I guess you're just we're gonna have to wait some time. And in the meantime, what else is going on? The mother is sitting there whispering, your dad doesn't love you. He's having fun with his new wife and family. He doesn't care about you anymore. Because there are plenty of those stories out there where men have just said that, have just tried to be good to their children, good to their spouses. Nada. Now, when people sit here and say there's no punishment, oh really? When was the last time you've heard of a woman being punished for bad behavior in the terms of paternity fraud or adultery? Because last time I heard anything like that, it was the fact that the cheated on spouse had to sit there and sue in civil court for, I forget the legal term, but sue for the loss of the marriage. They had to sue what was going on and sue for the interference in the marriage. And most states in the United States are getting rid of these laws. What is it, loss of consortium or something like that? But, my point still stands firm, that women are not punished. And what do you mean women aren't punished? Just as an example here, where I live, when I was in high school, well over 12 years ago at this point, there was a story that ran on the local media of a boy no older than 6 whose mother's boyfriend had been beating the kid regularly. After he had beaten the kid regularly, it boiled down to the fact that the kid was so beaten by the time he got to the the mother didn't even take him to the hospital till it was way too late. And both of them got murder charges. Folks, both got murder charges. And this is my point, is that can anyone think of last 10 years a woman was punished criminally for anything of the sort? Because I honestly can't think of any outside of men having to go and sue on civil allegations. That's it. They didn't sue and there was no criminal charges pressed.
Sir, their shields are still down.
Nothing.
I don't like this.
It was only civilly could they be sued for damages, especially if they did the accusing of crime or the paternity fraud knowingly, willingly, and maliciously. There is no punishment at all. Now, some might sit here and say, well, it's not really that bad of a crime. Okay, so let me get this straight, ladies. Let me put this in a way that you will understand. Let's say you go to a doctor to have a baby with your husband, or your whomever, and doctor pushes a bunch of consent forms and other things. Oh, Jim did a real nice job clearing that out. And nice body tackle, I guess, by the way. But a woman shows up, goes through all the procedures, she gets pregnant, she's like, yay, I'm gonna be a mom. And then when the baby's born, a couple shows up and they say, thank you for carrying our baby. She's like, what? No, you can't have it, that's my baby. And then they whip out all the paperwork. This is your paperwork stating you agree to be a surrogate for these couple, but it's my baby. Did you sign these documents under the rest? No, the doctor handed them to me and I signed them willingly. Well, guess what? You agreed to be a surrogate and you're not getting paid for it. You're not getting, and you don't have a baby anymore. Tell me, ladies, how would you feel to know that your child, or the child that you thought was your child, was ripped from your arms in such a manner? Tell me, how badly would you be hurt? How badly would you feel? Terrible, right? That you have to know that the child that you carried for 9 months, technically it's 10 months, was never yours in the first place. Imagine being a 50-year-old man who finds out that the 20-year-old kid that he's been raising since he was 30 was never his biological child. How do you think that makes some people feel? How do you think it makes men feel? Just as an example here, that a woman might be able to understand from. folks. It's not a pretty thing to think about either. That somebody would be that low and slimy to do that to somebody. Yeah, feel me? Do you feel me real good? And, you know, to be frankly honest, the only time I could ever think of a woman being punished for anything outside of family or society, no, outside of family, is the Scarlet Letter. Now, some may not know, but it's a movie based on the actual events that happened in a colony, where settlers were. Oh, you're going to offend the natives. I don't really care. I personally think the natives should be more offended by the fact that the U.S. federal government has shafted them harder than any settler ever has. But the Scarlet Letter is the only real example that I can think of a woman being punished for adultery. That's it. But in any case, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe, bang the bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.